Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Davey Death Ray here. How y'all doing? Gosh, seems like it's been so long, but I know it really hasn't been, guys. But it's been an interesting couple of weeks here in the Death Ray household. So, of course, I want to catch you guys up on all of that. But I want to say hello to everyone in the chat. I hope you guys had an awesome weekend. First off, I hope and that your July is kicking off nicely as well. So, yeah, let's say what's up to everybody that we've got in here. We've got Lamontre Gillard. What's happening, Lamontre? How you doing, man? Great to see you. And we've got Raymond Malaber. What's happening, Raymond? Awesome to see you in the chat, as always. Necromechanimal with the excellent knife emoji. Love seeing that. And we've got our guy Antonis with his cool little Chucky doll icon there. I was been watching some Chucky, is throughout the last couple weeks, been peppering it in there. So just about wrapped up there. And then we've got Ryan Swayze 88. What's happening, Ryan? Great to see you. I saw you over there on Our Life in Horror, in the live chat there. So great to see you popping back on over here. Ooh, Raymond wants to know what is double scoops. All right. Well, Raymond, we will get to that. I will let you know everything. I've got, we're doing it a little bit differently today. Usually I go through another program called XSplit where I can like have the little graphics pop up here and everything. But I know you guys have noticed some of the issues with XSplit. I certainly have noticed some of the issues. So I figured we would just go straight through StreamYard. So we will hit up all those topics. I just don't have the cool little icons this time around. And then we've got Big Rod in the chat. What's happening, Big Rod? Great to see you, my guy. Love this from Necromechanimal. Love getting a little bit of good-natured ribbing. Diva Davey always showing up late to his own event. You know, it is sort of that like showtime on time. You know, it's like 5 minutes after the hour. You know, the whole like right on the dot kind of thing. It's like, well, I know that some folks are probably going to be kind of coming in a little bit later. And I don't know, most of the people that I watch on YouTube, honestly, usually go a few minutes after the hour. So I always like to give myself just an extra couple minutes. But yeah, certainly don't want to keep you guys waiting too long. Not at all. And then we've got Ryan Olashow in the chat. What's happening, Ryan? Great to see you in here as well. We've got Tyler Adams. What's happening, Tyler? Gene Whitacombe. How you doing, Gene? Great to see you as always. Aaron Click, our guy, is in the chat as well. There's Our Life in Horror. What's happening, guys? How you doing? Looking forward to having you on Late Night with the Davey on the 10th of July. So not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. It'll be great because I've been able to check out some of your guys' content. I really want to dive in a little bit more, though. I'm sure you guys know all about the balance of like creating versus like making sure you're ingesting enough content and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, really enjoyed your guys' live stream earlier about Canadian horror. Guys, if you missed that live stream earlier, or if you're not already subbed to the Our Life in Horror channel, go give them a sub. Go check them out. At the very least, see what they've got, see if it's up your alley. If you're over here and you like this kind of content, you'll probably dig what they do over there as well. So they were talking Canadian horror films because it is Canada Day today. You know, oddly enough, just right before 4th of July. Seems a little suspicious. No, I'm just joking. Love our neighbors to the north, right? Or when I was in Alaska, it was neighbors to the east is what it was. So yeah, I think we've got, oh, no, we've got a couple more here. Boom, Vanderhoff is in the chat. What's happening, Dave? I know I've got to get back to you about the headstone. I'm going to get to why my life has been such a whirlwind here in just a few minutes, guys. But Dave, I need to get back to you. Just wanted to let you know that I am aware, and I'm going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb so I don't see it flash or anything like that. Let's see here. Yeah, Raymond, we are in the Jason stretch of the year. July, August, September, October, November. Jason stretch. All right. And I've got a little bit of, fun kind of works into the whole Friday the 13th with the Day of the Dead convention news. So let's get into that here shortly. Necromechanimal says, I had a good weekend. Finally got to watch In a Violent Nature, watch The Devil's Bath, and skimmed through Furiosa to watch the action parts. Yeah, how was what did you think of In a Violent Nature? I've still yet to see it, so I'll probably check it out here pretty soon. But I did not check it out in theaters because I just heard mixed stuff, and you just have to be pickier and choosier about what you see in the theaters these days, right? I mean, it's expensive. It can be very distracting and annoying, the theater experience. So yeah, I don't go. I think the last thing I saw in the theater, other than seeing Abigail at a press screening, the last thing I paid to go see was Late Night with the Devil. Kate and I saw that on opening night. Absolutely loved it. Yeah, but can't see everything in the theater, unfortunately. Carbonite Dreams is in the chat. What's happening, Carbonite? How you doing? Hope you're having a great day and hope you had an awesome weekend. Gavin is in the chat as well. What's up, Gavin? And Gavin just picked up tickets for Maxine on Friday night. That's awesome. I've got some buddies that are going out to the press screening of that one tonight. So really looking forward to checking that one out here. Hopefully this weekend I'm able to check it out. So yeah. Necromechanimal loved In a Violent Nature with the exception of a couple things. Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate you not spoiling it. Yeah, I will sit down and watch it for sure. Just wasn't a theater watch for me. And we've got Robert the Wolfman. Everybody in the chat, wherever you are right now, I want you to sing Robert the Wolfman happy birthday because it's this guy's birthday today. And actually, Robert, so check it out. I wanted to show off. Robert puts together mead. He brews his own mead. So he put this together for Days of the Dead. It's called the lemon configuration. And as you can see, it's got like the lament configuration there. Kind of tough to see on the setup I have here. You can kind of see there at an angle. And of course, it's got all the, the pins in it. 17%, really, really good mead here. Like we were sipping on it throughout the weekend at the convention, and Robert was sweet enough to gift myself and Kate a bottle. So I figured what better way to, regardless of whether you showed up, Robert, I had this right next to me so I could, show it off to everybody. And I'm going to have a sip. I've got it. Kate and I were gifted these really cool, like Grand Canyon glasses. I don't know if you can see, but it's got like a little bit of a canyon there. So anyways, I'm going to have a sip of this delicious lemon mead. Good shit. Good shit. Yeah. All right. Look at all the happy birthdays for Robert in the chat. That's awesome. And we've got Eli Cortez. What's happening, Eli? How are you doing, my guy? And Nicholas McMath. Holy crap. We have 21 people in here. That is wild. You guys, I feel like I've been a little distracted the last couple weeks. I don't think I've given you guys in the chat and the folks in the audience all the love and attention that you guys deserve. It's incredible. I pop onto lives all the time. Some of the people that I watch have thousands of subs or even more. And, with my channel, we're not even at 725 subs right now on the channel. And so when I see that over 20 people are watching a live stream, especially a live stream that's just like, there's no hot button issue. I'm not covering Friday the 13th news or Scream breaking news or anything like that. I just really appreciate you guys showing up and hanging out with me. Other than the guys like Robert the Wolfman over and all the folks at the horror show, as far as like friends in my life, like outside of course, my wife, who's my best friend, the older you get, the tougher it is to maintain those kinds of relationships. So, hanging out with you guys is like hanging out with my buddies. So I really appreciate you guys coming out and supporting. And yeah, let's see here. Robert says, I have a cool message to send you that I received this morning. Oh, dang. Okay. Well, I think hopefully it's in response to your delicious mead and one of the performers you gifted a bottle to, because Robert at the Days of the Dead convention was out handing his bottles of mead out to, they had basically a reunion of a whole bunch of folks from the Hellraiser franchise. So, he was able to give them out to a whole bunch of the performers, which is really awesome. I mean, how many times do you get to have an interaction with somebody, a celebrity or an actor that you really love? And the mead popped its top. How often do you get them? Or, usually you're going to them, telling them how much you love them and all that stuff. Maybe you pay for a picture or an autograph or something like that. But how cool is it to give them something that you've created, especially something that pays homage to what they're known for. I could only imagine that's got to be really cool for the folks that were there at the convention. Yeah. And let's see here. Jamie Hart is in the chat. What's happening, Jamie? Great to see you. And yeah, just as I was hoping, it is regarding the mead. That's awesome, Robert. I can't wait to hear it, man. The mead deserves all the love. I know it says not for resale, but Robert, if it is available anywhere and anyone in the chat wants to get it, Robert, please feel free to put the link in the chat, and I can throw that in the description as well once the stream's all over. Yeah. And then we've got the folks from Lux Media in the chat. What's happening? I'd imagine that's Daniello. Good morning, Daniello. Hope your day and week are starting off well. We're going to get into a little Gotham Noir talk here in just a little bit. Yeah, and everyone's just saying what's up to each other. This is great. You guys are awesome. Yeah, in my heart of hearts, I wanted to jump on the chat or, on the live stream last night when I got home from Days of the Dead, but it was a long weekend. The convention was in downtown, so it's about a 40-minute drive, 45-minute drive either way. And it was about like 110, 115 all weekend. And I'm running around like moving my car because parking in the parking garages was like ridiculously expensive downtown. So I'm just moving my car around, spending like $3 every couple hours or whatever. Just exhausted by the end of the whole thing, a whole lot of walking and standing and all that kind of fun stuff. But I just didn't have the energy, and I knew that I wanted to go live with you guys and was like, man, if I try to go live after that long weekend, I'm just going to, have zero energy and just be a total wreck. So appreciate you guys being flexible and letting me do this whole thing on a Monday. Big Rod says, I was in another live stream a few days ago and we ended up talking about Gotham Noir. It's catching some buzz. That's awesome, Big Rod. I was talking it up at the convention at Days of the Dead, and there were people that were like, oh, I've heard of that. Yeah, Gotham Noir, that's the one with Chris Stanley, right? And I'm just like, this is great. Like, come on over to the Kickstarter and purchase, grab a perk, contribute, support the film. We are, I think, a little bit behind schedule of where we'd like to be right now. Of course, within the first week or two, you want to raise at least half of the money. I mean, who the heck wouldn't at the very least? But yeah, we are a little behind schedule. So we got to kind of ramp this thing up and, just get you guys, maybe give you guys a little more breadcrumbs, get y'all a little more enticed to go grab those perks. There's all sorts of great stuff over there on the Gotham Noir Kickstarter site. So we can take a look at that here in a moment. And we've got Dude Who Loves Movies. What's happening, Cody? Great to see you. And yes, roundhouse kick that like button, everyone. Cody is another YouTube content creator here in the greater Phoenix area. And I was actually, even though we've collaborated a couple different times here on YouTube, I actually finally met Cody at the convention this weekend. It was great meeting you, Cody, and your sister Heather. That was awesome. I hope you guys had a great time. We will get into a little bit of Days of the Dead talk, but I kind of want to give you guys a little update just on what's been going on with me and all that kind of fun stuff. Let's see here. I just want to answer a couple questions. So Aaron's just listening. Great. Excellent. Yeah, I do that a lot, Aaron, because I pay for YouTube Premium. So I'm able to turn the screen off and just listen. There are times where I just, if I know that it's going to be a stream that's mostly talking, or I'm really familiar with the film and I don't need to see any like cutaways to any sort of, visual aids, I just put in an earbud, take care of some chores, listen to the whole thing. And then Gavin asks, is there going to be any of the studio Batman films that are canon in Gotham Noir that I need to see, or will it just be its own thing entirely? It'll just be its own thing entirely, Gavin. I think that's, I mean, of course, the things that you come to expect from the city of Gotham, because the city itself is a character, and the things that about Batman and, Alfred, those core characters, those aspects are going to be there. Now, our aim, of course, is to explore some angles and some perspectives we haven't seen before, obviously, as far as the characters go. And then as far as the content goes, I mean, this is going to be, we're shooting for an R-rated horror feature film. So I would say just bring your whatever knowledge of Batman that you have, the love that you've got for the character in that world, just bring that. And of course, bring your love of horror, and you should have a really damn good time. Raymond says, I can't wait to see Gotham Noir. I can't donate, but I'll be watching when it becomes available. That's awesome. Yeah, and you know what, Raymond? Even if one of the perks is maybe, it's just a little bit out of your price range, guys, you can donate like $1 or $2 here or there. So I totally get it. I don't want to ask anyone to go outside of their means. Of course, it's important to take care of your own, financial responsibilities and everything. But even if you're like, man, I can't invest as much as I want to, but you know what? I'll make myself a cup of coffee today. I'll throw these guys a few bucks. Every little bit helps. And, we just need the whole community to kind of rally around, whenever these fan films go through a crowdfunding phase, it's like we just need everyone to rally around. It's a total cliche, but it takes a village. And in this instance, when you're trying to raise this much money, look, if you just get a couple thousand people to donate a few dollars here or there, that is a huge dent out of what we're trying to raise, right? So, the reason why the budget is where it's at as well is because we want to be able to take care of the people that are doing the work on the film. We've got stunt coordinators, we have fantastic visual effects folks and audio folks. And of course, you want to be able to bring a crew on and take care of them while they're shooting and everything like that. So, these things cost money, but at the end of the day, what's really cool is if you end up donating or supporting in any way, purchasing a perk or just donating money to the campaign, you're a part of Batman history and you're a part of horror history. You can look back and say, I contributed to that, which is a really cool thing. That's one of the, other than the satisfaction of just knowing that you're helping make the dream come true. When I purchase perks for other fan films like It's Me, Billy Chapter 2 or Dylan's New Nightmare, Never Hike Alone, all that kind of stuff, it just feels good to be part of it, like in whatever way. And that's kind of the approach I had going into this whole thing. I ended up jumping on as a producer after being brought on as a voice actor because whatever role I can fulfill to make this thing happen. And I feel the same way as far as like audience members. I feel like, we can go the same route, and Aaron says, Davey, do you often listen while moving an upright piano out of a house by yourself? Setting it out to see if someone wants it for free. I'm gonna need majorly, or it's gonna need a major restoration. I've never done that, Aaron. I have never tried to move an upright piano out of anyone's house by myself. I don't even think I've ever moved a piano. Yeah. Davey, there are 17 likes right now. Thank you for the update, Nicholas. Let me know what it's sitting at here in about 35 minutes. But yeah, guys, let's get to some brass tacks here and jump on. Let's see here. I'm going to get that comment out of the way there. There we go. All right, we got Ashton. What's happening, Ashton? How you doing? And let's see here. Did I miss Coy jumping in? Oh, yeah, I missed Coy jumping in. What's happening? Happy Sanjo. Hope you're doing well, Coy. Hope recovery from surgery is going well, my guy. Yeah, let's see here. Oh my gosh, there we go. I'm leaving comments up. There we go. Okay. So guys, a little bit of a Davey real life update. So the last couple of weeks, like I felt a little bit distracted and maybe not lacking some of the focus I usually have when I'm on live with you guys, of course, whether it's a Sunday stream or doing late night with the Davey. If you guys caught the last episode, you probably know what I'm talking about. I won't bring up the whole thing, but there was just a little bit of a production mistake that I missed. So no big deal, but it sort of made me like kind of reflect and be like, man, you're distracted. You're just a little less focused. So guys, a couple weeks ago, I ended up getting let go from the job that I was at. My employer ended up absorbing a couple other books of business and decided to retain some of the employees from those books of business. I sell insurance. So, with tenure and numbers and everything, sometimes business decisions have to get made. I don't take it personally, but I'd be lying if I said like, losing your job like kind of out of nowhere, is kind of a shock to the system. So, luckily for me, Kate was so supportive and awesome, just really cool. And, and I just thought about it from the most positive standpoint I could. I was just like, okay, Well, that's done. That chapter's finished. Got to close that chapter. Got to open up a new one. I have to stay positive. I'm not going to find a new gig if I don't stay positive. And so I wanted to keep everything going with the channel as best I could. But of course, I was investing a lot of time into finding a job because, as I'm sure some of you may know, maybe hopefully none of you know this, but if you're ever out of work for a stretch of time, you just start feeling like, man, am I just like the biggest loser or totally useless or whatever, whatever. So even when you try to stay as positive as you can, our brains are so overly active. The little devil on your shoulder is going to grow like 10 times. And so just trying to maintain my focus through all that was kind of difficult, but I ended up getting a new job. I just started today. It was a really cool kind of fate destiny type thing where somebody that I had gone through a training program, or somebody who runs a training program for insurance salespeople, had just randomly reached out and been like, hey, do you happen to be looking for something? Because I know someone that's looking for a salesperson and you've got the perfect personality. So on Friday, before even going to Days of the Dead for the weekend, I was able to land the job. And I have to tell you, it was like the biggest weight lifted off my shoulders going into that weekend. Just knowing that I can kind of relax in the weekend. I don't have to think about, looking for a job or wondering if I'm going to be able to find one. So, serious real life stuff out of the way. That's pretty much it that I've got for you as far as life update goes. And guys, I didn't want to I thought about should I bring this up during the thing? I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna I didn't want to sit here and pour my heart out while I was in that in between space. I wanted to make sure that I had a resolution and a solution there, before I opened that part up and just, I think that you guys know that I like being vulnerable with you, but also I want to make sure that it's appropriate, well measured, and that I'm doing it with the best intentions. And I'm not the kind of person that looks for some boohoo sob story. I feel like if I was talking about it the whole time, or if I brought it up while I was looking for work, I'd be kind of seeking that sort of attention. So I just wanted to let you guys know, full disclosure, because you're going to get the old Davy back. And I'm much happier and so much more relieved now that I've got that box checked off, as it were. So yeah, really, everything else with life is going well. So Kate ended up moving offices. She does dental assistant work, and she ended up moving offices a few months ago. And so she's in an amazing spot with the folks that she works with. So everything's going great. And I am hopeful that I found a spot where I can stay for a while. So that's always awesome. I mean, it's important. You have to have a way for money to come in. As much as I would love something like YouTube or just something creative to be my gig, I've got to be practical, right? And so I have to be able to work on that dream on the side, but also stay focused enough to be able to be there for my family and be able to be as financially responsible as I can. So yeah, I'm gonna have a sip of mead to celebrate getting a job and getting that noisy, obnoxious 10 times the size devil off my shoulder. So let's see here. Big Rod says, Arizona is a literal hot bet. Got content creators. My number one fantasy football analyst is out in AZ. Too hot to do anything but create. Yeah, it is. It's, man, staying inside during the summer is massive. And I work remotely. So up until this weekend, I pretty much got to avoid the heat. But man, it wears you down. Even just spending 5 to 10 minutes outside, moving the car at the convention, you get back inside and you're like, oh geez, I need a cup of coffee after all that. So yeah, you guys are super sweet. Just reading through the comments here. Hey, we've got Malcolm Jamal Warner. What's happening? Welcome to the chat. I recognize that name. Is that the real Malcolm Jamal Warner? Because I definitely recognize that name. You guys are so sweet. Yeah, no, it's it's okay. I do appreciate the sympathies and everything. Yeah. And I'm just happy that thing is all figured out and can move on, and regain some focus. And to bring up Mud's comment here, Gavin, yeah, I feel really bad, Gavin, because I owe you a birthday review, and I know it's way friggin' late right now, man. But the last 2.5 weeks or so, it's just been really tough to, to spend as much time on the creative stuff as I've wanted to. But we're getting back into it, so don't you worry. Yeah, yeah, it is, Aaron. I agree. It's one of those things that can. That was like why that very first day I wanted to like say all the positive things and just like remind myself all that stuff because it's easy to get down. Yeah, it's easy to get down. Yeah. And Jamie, yeah, the boredom. It almost in some way, it's like when I have a job, it actually like keeps all my energy up. So I clock off from work, I'm able to clock into this job, which I call my fun job, um, and have that energy going. But then when you're out of work and you're looking for work, I swear it's tougher, even though you have a whole day. Well, not a whole day because you're looking for work, but you have the free time technically. It's really tough to find that motivation because you've just got that little problem that's just drilling into your head. So yeah, really appreciate all the nice words. You guys are awesome. Yeah. And we've got Nick Push in the chat. He says, I'm sorry, late. So sorry if this was addressed already. But the real question is, did anyone ask for your autograph, Davey? No one asked for my autograph. No. I was there with the horror show channel, working the booth, and it was great because we're selling a whole bunch of Dylan's New Nightmare gear. And what was really cool is everyone else that was there had to do with the production. Like those guys actually worked on the film. On it, like I didn't work on Dylan's New Nightmare. I contributed to the crowdfunding campaign, like you guys are contributing to the Gotham Noir Kickstarter. And then after I saw DNN at Mad Monster last year, it wasn't until after seeing the film that I became buddies with those guys. So it's really cool to just kind of do the sales pitch at the table and be like, and by the way, like this isn't even about ego because I had nothing to do with this. I just really love it, and I weaseled my way into these guys' lives. So it was really cool. But yeah, no one asked for anything, Nick. But I did have a really good day on Saturday. Ron Sloan from Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning, hung out at the table for most of the day because he was in Dylan's New Nightmare. So he played the casting director at the very beginning. If you guys haven't seen Dylan's New Nightmare yet, go over to the Horror Show channel and please watch it. It is an awesome fan film. If you're a fan of Wes Craven's New Nightmare, you're going to love this fan film. Absolutely. And it's only about like 30, 35 minutes, something like that. So it's a nice, like you get a nice quick watch. I kind of like that with fan films when they pick, really just with all films, you guys know this about me, is that I like the right amount of time for the story. And I feel like with Dylan's New Nightmare, it's kind of like a proof of concept. So it's a little bit shorter, and then the sequel is going to be like a full-fledged feature-length film. But yeah, Ron Sloan played the casting director. He was Junior in Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning, and he hung out with us for pretty much the whole day, and he was just the sweetest guy. Man, he was like kind of picking my brain and just, what do you do for a living? Like, just tell me about yourself, all that kind of fun stuff. And we're just sort of shooting the shit. And he doesn't live too far from here. So maybe I'll be able to bump into him, whenever Kate and I happen to visit his neck of the woods for like a day trip or something like that. And he gave me his card and said, if, I ever want to do like an interview with him, to just reach out. So I've got that in, which is really cool to have. I want to bring Ron on Late Night with the Davey, and of course talk Friday the 13th, A New Beginning with you guys, but also just kind of pick his brain about some other stuff. As I think that's one of the things you guys know about Late Night with the Davey is we sort of veer off into some other topics. So it's like, yeah, we know that, Ron is an actor. I'm maybe a little more interested in kind of like talking to him about like, what are his favorite movies? Like, what did he grow up with that made him want to get involved in film? Or like what kind of music do you love? Like what other, like he runs an art gallery. So it's like, okay, so you're really into art. Let's talk about, how that love of film kind of poured over into appreciation of other mediums of art. So yeah, Days of the Dead was a really fun time. It's always great to hang out with Cecil and Fuego and, birthday boy Robert the Wolfman and all that kind of stuff. I We all hoped that the event would have been attended better. It seemed relatively slow, but it was Days of the Dead's first time in Phoenix. So that might have something to do with it. Also, Michael Bean and Heather Langenkamp canceled like right at the last minute. So I think that certainly doesn't help because, those are two long line actors, like there's going to be a line all day at their booth and it's going to fill the Q&As and the panels and all that kind of stuff. So feel like maybe some of the audience was lost there by losing those celebrities, but you still had Malcolm McDowell, excuse me, Malcolm McDowell, Doug Bradley, Ashley Lawrence, a whole bunch of the Hellraiser crew. Amy Steele from Friday the 13th Part 2 was there. A whole bunch of the actors from Night of the Living Dead were there. We had Miko Hughes just right across the way, who, of course, was in Pet Sematary, Kindergarten Cop, Mercury Rising, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, and Dylan's New Nightmare. So that was really awesome. And then we had some of the other, there was some Star Trek folk, some other Pet Sematary folk. It was really cool just kind of being right in front of Celebrity Row there. So yeah, Days of the Dead, it was, I was back behind the booth a lot of the time, but it was a really cool experience. I'll take every bit of time hanging out with people, chit-chatting, getting to know people better, picking people's brains, and just interacting with folks because Phoenix is such a spread out city that it's really easy to become a homebody and just like hang out and talk to you guys. So it is nice to get out in the real world. Really funny though, like right when I got there, I go to the elevators to like figure out where the heck the convention is because it's at the Sheraton Hotel, massive hotel. The hotel lobby and restaurant was like its own friggin' thing. It was like there were hundreds of people in that lobby in the bar the whole weekend. And it wasn't just us. It was like a volleyball tournament and then like an adult soccer tournament. It was crazy. So right when I get there, waiting for an elevator, and who walks up? Oh, it's Malcolm McDowell. And he's asking, is this the way to get to the convention? And all that kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, don't worry, Malcolm. We'll make sure you get on the elevator with us. And then later on, like on Saturday or Sunday, I go to use the restroom and boom, who's there? Friggin' Malcolm McDowell. And I'm like, man, everywhere I go, this guy just happens to be. Yeah, it was it's always really like I try not to bug people always, especially if you're working a booth, you want to be like extra respectful, So I always try to like toe that line and be friendly, but not try to, overly engage. But certainly like hanging out with Ron all day on Saturday. I mean, that is a massive treat. The people, he had the head, like Junior's, the actual screen used prop head from Friday the 13th Part 5 that he takes around to conventions with him. So that's really cool. And he is just, man, he'll rope people in, people walk by and he just starts telling them about Dylan's New Nightmare. And of course, Friday the 13th Part 5, which I'm sure a lot of you guys know, has a massive following. There's some people that swear by that movie. I think for me, if I remember my ranking, it was somewhere in the middle. I mean, I like all the movies, but if you're going to rank them, everyone's got to go somewhere. But yeah, it was amazing having Ron hang out with. Yeah, and then just wanted to check in here. Gavin says you're all good, waiting patiently because I know you have a lot on your plate. I really, really do appreciate it, Gavin. It's something that honestly, I think about it every day, and that yeah, I think about it every day, and I'm like, man, Gavin is a really patient, sweet guy for not being upset at this point because I certainly would understand if you were. So we're gonna make that one a great one for you, bud. Don't you worry about that. Dan Sheehan is in the chat. What's happening, Dan? I don't know if I've seen you in the chat before, but Dan says Jason Todd should have his own movie. Yeah, I think that would be great, right? I think that would be really cool. I think if they explore Robin in a movie series moving forward, they should go a serious dark route because I think that's the one character we really haven't seen explored the way that we've explored Batman. And then we've got Allie Girl in the chat. What's happening, Allie Girl? Hope you had a great weekend and that your Monday is off to a great start. And we've got Cody Snyder. How you doing, Cody? Great to see you, bud. Great to see you. Love seeing you in here. And what do you got there? Is that a little Amy Steele there? You've got what's your icon? Is it like a group of Friday the 13th Final Girls? Is that what that is? I don't know if I recognize that piece of art. Big Rod said, I just watched Dylan's new Nightmare for the second time last week. Cecil has some talent. Boy, does he ever. Gosh, I meant to get a picture with Cecil and a picture with Robert and all those guys this weekend. Totally forgot to do that. But, you know, I look up to and love all those guys. They are my buds. Cecil to me is like, you know, with him taking me under his wing when I first started my channel, essentially, you know, I think of him as like a mentor, a friend, a brother. And yes, Big Rod, very talented. The amount of ideas that Cecil has, it's like his ideas are always pouring out of him. It's really, really cool. And yeah, he has finished the script for the follow-up to Dylan's New Nightmare. And the first script is like the Shoot for the Stars script. So it's like 2.5 hours long if it were to be made into a movie. So it's like you always start there and then you can kind of pare back and figure out where you need to go, just depending on how everything shakes out. But yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, very, very talented. And yeah, Robert, Ron Sloan, absolute sweetheart. Just, you know, what a guy. You would never like, you would never think that. I mean, and not to say that performers are all aloof or difficult or anything like that. But certainly I think that if you have a job where a whole bunch of people are always really excited to like talk to you about a couple things you've done in your life, that maybe at some point that, you know, it's just all about kind of picking your spots. But man, Ron is just like the most down to earth, sweet, like regular guy. It's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, Jamie Hart says, not all fan films are short. I was involved in a 4-hour-long Twin Peaks fan film. I did voice work on it as well as donating. I am thrilled to be part of that universe. Yeah, it's true. Not all of them are short. Yeah, and I think that, you know, the runtime, that's a tricky thing. It's all got to be, you know, you don't want to lose people with the runtime, right? But also you need to tell the story that you feel, you know, the conviction to tell. Absolutely. I think it's always good to have fresh eyes, like in the, you know, fresh eyes in the pre-production process to make sure the script is as solid as it can be. And then you can hit the ground running when you're actually going to camera. And then when you're in the post-production, I think that's when you kind of need some more fresh eyes when you're going into the edit, you know? Sometimes the person that's so close to it that wrote something or created it, they might not think that something should be cut out. And then maybe a trusted advisor or somebody that's been working on the film with them can say, you know, man, like you kind of already have this ground covered, or maybe this scene can be half as long, you know, just like those little touches. So, and I'm not saying that about your Twin Peaks fan film. I should watch that. May take a couple sessions. So hit me up with a DM, Jamie, and let me know where I can check that out. I'd love to check it out. See here, Dan Sheehan says, my grandson picks his brain through his neck. That's great. I know every time I said it to Brett from Good Real Hunting on late night. I was like, I want to pick your brain a little bit. And he was like, well, don't let your fingers get too sticky. And I was like, what? Oh, he means brain matter. It's a brain matter joke. And then Gavin says, a new beginning is his favorite. Was cool to see you hanging out with him. Yeah, man. It's I know a lot of people are right there with you. And I have a lot of fun watching it. Like, again, if I rank a movie in the middle, especially when it comes to Friday the 13th, I love all of those movies for different reasons. But part 5, I always have a fun time watching part 5. All right. Let's see. We've got Chris Snyder, Movie Misfits in the house. What's happening, Chris? Great to see you, bud. Awesome to see you. Guys, if you don't sub over at Movie Misfits, go check him out. He's got a really cool well, I guess it's over on the Jigsaw Files. Are those on those are on a separate channel, right, Chris? If you want to drop a link for your channel or your latest vid, please feel free to go ahead and drop that. You guys should check out what Chris does over at Movie Misfits. Taking a little bit of a break from hitting the live stuff really hard, like he has, you know, been doing for a while, because he's working on some really cool projects. So go give him a sub and check him out. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anyone. Everyone's saying what's up. Chris says he hasn't been to a con since 2012. Always wanted to go back, haven't had a chance, and we don't get many out here. Yeah, it's too bad, man. Yeah, you're in the Ann Arbor area? Are you in Ohio or Michigan there? Somewhere in there? Yeah, it can be tough. Like I in this like this one I had to drive 45 minutes. When there's a convention out in Mesa, that's about an hour. But really it's like, I don't have to go too many places, so it's not so bad. No, I didn't go all fanboy. No, not at all. It's especially like I've worked on Wizard World Comic Con before, and they really press like, hey, don't be weird around the celebs. Don't act like, don't show your fandom, even if you are a fan, kind of thing. So I always try to like kind of keep that tempered. Of course, too, because people that paid to get in the convention are walking by the table, right? And I want Ron to be able, like, we want to engage with those people to be able to sell some merch for the horror show. And I want other people to be engaged with, to have a conversation with Ron. So not going to sit there and eat up the whole time, right? Junior was one of so there's like the redneck people in A New Beginning. There's Ethel. Ethel's the mom, and Junior's the son. And Ethel's got the filthiest mouth. Will you shut the fuck up? What else does she say? She calls Junior a dildo. I love that. I calling people a dildo, I think, is something that maybe we need to bring back. I don't know. Call me crazy. I think it sounds fun. Big Rod says, I'd love to meet Malcolm McDowell. Love me some Clockwork Orange. Man, the guy's just a legend, right? A Clockwork Orange is just a drop in the bucket for the amount of just awesome pieces of media he's been in, whether it's TV shows or film. And say what you want about the movies or the shows or whatever. Malcolm always brings it. He's got this look and this magnetism to him that just can't be denied. So yeah, like Tyler says here, Malcolm is a legend. What's happening, Scaredy Cast? Great to see you in the chat. I don't know. I'm guessing it's Tony, maybe Tony in the chat. Yeah, you guys were busy at the con all weekend, just right there, kind of in the middle, or that right around that bend where all the celebs were kind of lined up. Really, really cool. And I think Scaredy Cast, you guys were doing the media, doing the official media for him. That's awesome. Scaredy Cast, guys, if you like podcasts and you like talk about like cryptozoology, scary like horror movies, whether or not they're like old school or modern, Scaredy Cast covers all that stuff. It's a 3-person podcast. Sometimes they bring on guests, really cool chemistry and energy. They also do live shows here in the Phoenix area, and they're up and comers. I think it's really cool that they do. So it's not only the content creation side for like YouTube and TikTok and all that, but doing live stuff is pretty awesome as well. I mean, that's, you're going to reach people in a live audience that you would, never see otherwise. Yeah. So, Jamie says, Davey, you need mods. What am I missing with the mods? Is somebody causing trouble? Hopefully not. If so, I don't think I missed anything here, or am I just missing people's chats too much, Jamie? And that's why you want me to give people mods. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Robert. Yeah, thinking the same thing about us not getting a pic together. Yeah. My feet and legs still haven't recovered from the weekend. Oh my God. When I got home on Saturday, I was like giving myself a foot massage, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is killing me. Yeah, I'm certainly not used to standing and walking that much at all. Yeah, it's a wake-up call. Dylan's new nightmare, having the Freddy glove cut the arm into sections, was an excellent cartoonish kill. I can't believe never made it in the movies. Yeah, I think they talked about that at one of the panels where it was like they noticed that any time that Freddy ever slashed someone in the previous films, you never saw like the sushi cuts, which I think is what they called. Let me know, Robert. Is that what you guys officially call it? I think somebody said that, or maybe I'm just making it up. But yeah, they just look like little cuts of sushi. Yeah, great little, like, you get a chuckle out of it, but it's also kind of realistic. Yeah. Jamie says, I talked to the director of the fan film to release it in 5 parts. Oh, smart way to go. People could choose how they want to watch it, kind of like a mini series. I think that's a good way to do it. Then people can sort of, parse it out the way that they want to. Absolutely. Yeah, you got it, Chris. Of course. Chris has always been, ever since I found Chris's channel, I can't get enough of like good people doing content on YouTube. And again, feeling like I'm hanging out with buds. So I feel like with over on Chris's channel, that's what I get. Love the atmosphere and the feel and the vibe over there, and really enjoy Chris's outlook on horror and his opinions, of course. Yeah. Um, let's see here. Yep, Tony from Scaredy Cast. All right. And he says, "Oh, no media, just there as guests hanging." Okay. Yeah, because I saw you guys like listed. That's really cool to be listed on the official page and everything. Jamie, shut up and eat your fucking slop. Don't I make the best stew? Yep. Nice. Fatchy, can't get enough of my Davy baby. My Davy baby. What's happening, Matt? Hope you are doing well, my guy. Congratulations to your son and his baseball team on winning their championship the other week. That's really, really cool. Man, I loved playing baseball as a kid, and I never got to play on a championship team. I made All-Stars once. Well, we won Southeast Alaska, which is like the first tournament in All-Stars. That's as far as we got. I can only imagine how cool it is, how it connects those kids, and just, you get to kind of stand a little bit taller for the next year, being king shit for winning that championship. That's really cool. Yeah, Jamie, he's such a flirt. Such a friggin' flirt. The guy, married for 18 or 19 years, but just always flirting with Davey. Nicholas says A Clockwork Orange was my introduction to Malcolm McDowell. I'd love to meet him sometime. Yeah, I think that was my introduction to him as well. Unless maybe I saw him on a TV show or something when I was a kid. My introduction was definitely not Caligula. Not like, A Clockwork Orange is certainly effed up enough as it is. Let's see here. Malcolm plays against Type in the Tales from the Crypt episode, The Reluctant Vampire. I love that one. He also plays against Type in Class of 1999. He is like the principal that's on, like, he's against like the evil robot teachers. So I think that's pretty cool too. Always cool to see people, stretch their muscles and play against Type, all that kind of fun stuff. Big Rod says in Alaska you have to play with Kodiak bears in the bushes who could concentrate. Yeah, I never played with the bears in Alaska, but they're big and they're scary. Oh, behave. There we go. I did it there for you, Ryan. How's my Austin Powers, Ryan? You tell me. You tell me. So yeah, guys, Days of the Dead was an absolute blast. Really cool. It felt like every time I went to go move my car, Bam Margera was out there smoking a cigarette and skating. Robert and I walked by Bam once, and he was nice. Robert was like, "What's up, Bam?" And he was like, "Hey, man, how's it going?" So that's cool. Yeah, it was an interesting crowd for sure. So yeah, guys, just wanted to touch on Gotham Noir again really quick here with you. And I wanted to show off the page because I don't know if everyone has seen the Kickstarter, I would imagine. Boom. Thank you, Nicholas. We're at 25 likes. Awesome. Gene, thank you so much for hanging out for as long as you could. Really appreciate it. Have a great night, and hopefully we'll see you on Wednesday. Take care. Bam was a hottie back in the day. Yeah, maybe about 20 years ago. Yeah, maybe. Um, Lol, Bam out and about. Hope he's doing well. Yeah, me too. I never, we all have struggles. We all have different struggles. Seems like Bam has certainly been going through his stuff right now, or lately. But I got nothing. I want everyone to have as good of a life as they can have. I mean, obviously, if people are like, criminal creeps that violate the rights of others constantly, then I'm not all for that. But, of course I want people to find peace and happiness in their life. Right. I mean, you'd have to be a monster to not want that for someone. So yeah, guys, I wanted to show you again here, the Gotham Noir site. Just want to make sure that that's populated there. Okay, perfect. So yeah, guys, I'm not sure if any of you have purchased a perk or anything like that, but man, we are in a spot where we need you guys. We really need you guys. As a producer, I feel like I can fully say that, because look at this. We are only 20 days to go. And let's see here. We're only 17% the way there. So we need some folks to just take a look over what we got. Maybe check out that featurette with the stunt choreography. I have the feeling that we're going to be showing the cowl and maybe showing off some of the bat suit here pretty soon, and the cat suit, of course, which would be, I think should be able to bring some more eyes over here. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to show you here as far as maybe just kind of reiterate what we're going for. So this is like a 1920s, early 1900s Batman story. It's a horror story taking place around Christmas time, and it's a Batman that's been doing his thing for about 5 years or so. So he's still it's kind of, new. And even though he's got advanced technology, it's advanced technology for like the 20s, 30s. So it's still kind of like low tech Batman, right? And this is, I would say, it's like a horror mystery, kind of like a Jack the Ripper, maybe like Seven meets Batman. A touch of that like Saw element, I think. Like the vibe that I get without giving away too much. I certainly, can't say everything, but after reading through the scripts a couple times, I can definitely tell you it's got that kind of vibe, that like the Collector, Saw, Seven, like that kind of feel is what we're trying to bring here. So we're trying to give you a live action Gotham and a live action Batman story like no one's ever seen. Like this is something that they may do with animation or in the comic books, but the studios don't have the guts to do it, but Lux Media does. So yeah, I'm really excited to, to be a part of this. Obviously, I mean, Batman is as you can see from the little DVD or the Blu-ray that I have right there, Batman has been a big part of my movie fandom. Jack Nicholson's performance from the 89 Batman is what made me like want to get into acting and get into movies even more. And so it's really cool to kind of have this full circle moment with everything, and we can't make the movie without you guys. So I just wanted to kind of go over the rewards here. Oh, I guess I need to go to this tab. There we go. So yeah, guys, I know the other week I kind of read through everything individually, but look, so for as little as 14, you get a special thanks there. So you get your name in the credits. And then even for $27 there, you get the digital package. So, and keep in mind, so the top number, that's Australian dollars. So the bottom is going to be US. So this is, I would imagine most of you folks, it would be closer to that $27. So you get a digital copy of everything, promotional images, script, soundtrack, all that kind of fun stuff. And you get that thank you in the credits, of course. And then you can do an autograph poster, just $41 US, which I think is really cool to get, a piece of that, that autograph poster, just a piece of that memorabilia. Again, this is Batman and horror history that we're talking about here. So, I know 4th of July holiday coming up. Everyone's probably, going to the store, getting a whole bunch of food and getting ready to celebrate that weekend. But before you do that, grab a perk over here at the Kickstarter. You can find the link in the description below. This is the one that I really like. I think this is probably like the best like value for what you're getting because, without obviously like the producer packages, I think are the best value, but that's asking a bit more. I think for like most folks here. So for $51 US, you get that autographed Blu-ray. You get the whole digital package as well. Also the special thanks in the credits. I think that's super cool. Like how awesome would it be to be able to display that Blu-ray case, signed by Chris, signed by the rest of the crew? I think that would be really awesome. So yeah, I'll just kind of cruise through the rest of this. So there's that VIP package for just over $100. Gets you the shirt, gets you the autographed Blu-ray, autographed poster, autographed picture of the handsome man, Mr. Chris Stanley. How about that? Yeah, guys. So a whole bunch of really fun stuff here. I'll kind of like skim through it. I want to get back into the chat and, kind of get back into our roundup here. But yeah, guys, there is a whole bunch of, there are a whole bunch of really great perks in here. Please check out the Kickstarter, share it on social media. If this is something, I would say, like, even if you're in a spot where you're like, I can't donate right now, I really wish I could, just share it. Go over to your Facebook or your Instagram, share a story on Instagram or something. wherever you post, you know, we can get just helping us out or helping the word out is a huge, huge bonus and a huge benefit for us because we just need to reach the widest audience, right? So yeah, guys, that is the Kickstarter there from Gotham Noir. Link is in the description below, so you guys can check that out if you would like. Gonna catch up with you guys. Still talking about Bam. Oh my gosh, I was always a sucker for a hot skater boy. You know what, Jamie? You and Allie need to no, I'm just joking. You guys could probably hang out, like, you know, lay down with your heads and your heads in your hands, kick your feet back up and look through Teen Bop. No, I can't blame you. I can't blame you at all because I got my crushes. All right, the Oct jumping in with the reminder: 122 days till Halloween, everyone. Get ready. You've only got 122 days left. All the behind the scenes on the Blu-ray. Yeah, Tyler, exactly. Yeah. So the Blu-ray will have all sorts of special features, all that great kind of stuff. There it is. Yep. And I hope you ladies know it's good-natured ribbing. I'm just giving you a hard time for fun. I love it. I love boy crazy, girl crazy. Yeah. Get your crazy on, right? All right. So yeah, guys. So Gotham Noir, you know, kind of a smooth transition from talking about Gotham Noir and going over into Late Night with the Davy. So this week on Late Night with the Davy, we've got Chris Stanley on the show. And I normally share the thumbnail on social media on Monday before the show. But I had a guest that was checking their schedule, ended up not being able to make it work. So I had to wait to get confirmation from them before I posted the thumbnail. But I will post that thumbnail on my Insta. I'll post the link and I'll start sharing the stream on YouTube as well. So yeah, it's going to be Chris and I, just the two of us. Hopefully I don't get a copyright for that. But yeah, we'll talk Gotham Noir, of course. But what I really want to get into with Chris is well, maybe I shouldn't spoil anything. We'll talk Gotham Noir. We'll probably talk some other Batman related stuff. I don't want to spell everything out here. I want you guys to come and check out the show and see what we got. So, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Chris is an amazing guy. I mean, you guys know how talented he is, and just, you know, so happy that somebody like him has that success, because sometimes you see people that are successful and maybe they end up not being the nicest person or whatever. But Chris is one of these guys that's just the sweetest dude, just so genuine, so awesome. You know, I feel privileged to be able to call him a friend at this point, just after, you know, kind of getting to know him over the last like 6 months or so. And really looking forward to having him on Late Night with the Davy. And the really cool thing about that too, it is a bummer that the other guest wasn't able to make it. I hope we can reschedule and bring them on because it's another person I'm really excited about that I absolutely want to have on the show. But, you know, to the benefit of just having the one guest, you know, the show probably won't run as long. So it'll be easier for y'all to catch it in its entirety. And we know we won't have to worry about kicking anyone out of the back door. So it'll just be Chris and I being able to chat, you know, being able to have maybe a little Q&A with you guys. So here's a little something for you guys. Keep this in mind. I will post the link later on my YouTube on the community tab. So I'll post the link for the Late Night with the Davy so you can set a notification. And also, if you have a question that you want to ask Chris, go ahead and drop it in the comments on that post. And of course, if you forget to do that, you can ask a question in the chat. It'll just be easier for me to grab those questions from the post. And even if it's a question for me, for either one of us, and maybe we can both do it. Or if you have a start bench cut that you want us to do, because we're definitely going to play some rounds of start bench cut. I'm addicted to that game. So yeah, let's make this one a fun one. Late Night with the Davy. It's I felt like the last couple ones with me being out of work, I felt like I was a little low energy. Hopefully you guys didn't feel that. I'm probably a lot harsher on myself and a lot more of a big critic on myself than maybe you guys are. I don't know. But I'm really looking forward to bringing this back with a bang. I want to have a fun time with you guys. And also, with it just being one guest, I'll really be able to focus more on the chat and the audience. Like I said at the beginning of this stream, like I feel bad after the last couple of weeks being distracted and out of work and stuff that honestly, I just felt like I was not giving you guys as much attention and love in the chat. And, that's all on me. And all I can do is acknowledge it and say that I'm going to be better moving forward because you guys really are the lifeblood of the channel. Like, it's to jump on here and have 20 some people right at the beginning of the stream. Right now, we're sitting at about 15. I don't know if Nicholas is out there. Maybe you can give me a update on the amounts of likes, but regardless, your guys' support is amazing, and I can't thank you enough for it. Raymond says, I subbed to Chris's YouTube page when you first started talking about Noir. I haven't watched any vids yet, but I've seen him on other creator shows. Yeah, and Raymond, he has two YouTube. So he has, I think one's just called Chris Stanley, or maybe it's Chris Stanley Official. I'm not sure. That's where he does like movie reviews and like, like model builds and stuff like that. But he also has Cosplay Chris, which is a massive channel that he's been working on for years. So it's like 300,000 plus subs over there. And that's where you can catch a lot of his really cool cosplay work. So if you're interested, in knowing maybe what's this guy going to look like as Batman? Well, he's not wearing the suit that we're going to use in Gotham Noir. But if you go over to his Cosplay Chris channel, you can see him in other Batman costumes. I'm talking like Pattinson Batman. I think he wears the Batfleck suit as well. So all sorts of different looks. Yeah. That's great, Jamie. I love it because, I feel like sometimes you, as a performer, you kind of push through. But like I said, I'm always going to be like tougher on myself. And Raymond confirms, well, that's great. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything. You're being way harsh on yourself. We wouldn't keep coming back if we were bored. I really appreciate that, Trisha. I think sometimes I just like to, it's so tough to be a good critic of yourself. And I feel like a lot of people maybe ignore all criticism or don't pay attention to it. But I think it kind of keeps you grounded. It helps keep you accountable. So some of these things I say just to make sure that I'm keeping myself accountable. My goal is to make sure that every video is better than the last one, that I continue to find my voice, that I continue to have a connection with you guys, and that connection continues to grow and we get to know each other better. So, showing that vulnerability from time to time is definitely going to be something that you'll see for sure. All right, 26 likes. Thank you, Allie. Appreciate the update. What's happening, chat? How are you doing, man? Great to see you. Love the Nick Castle homage picture you've got there. That is beautiful. All right. Oof, that meat is so good, you guys. If Robert sells it, you guys have to get some. All right. So, yeah, guys, I'm curious to know, so 4th of July plans, because Late Night with the Davy is going to be on the 3rd of July. Fittingly enough, I'm having a non-American as a guest. I wanted to do that. My other guest is not from the States as well, and I thought it would be like kind of cute to do a 4th of July like special where I'm the only American there. I don't know why. I don't have an angle. I just thought it would be fun. But yeah, Kate and I, every 4th of July, we hang out with some friends, usually go over to, someone's house who has a pool, and we do the whole barbecue thing, hang out, reapply suntan lotion so you don't get burnt to a crisp, because geez, it's hot out there this time of year. But I'm curious to know what you guys have going on for 4th of July. Do you guys have, do you all go and like watch The Return of the Living Dead or something like that? Because that takes place on the 3rd of July. Do you watch Jaws? Like, do you guys are there any traditions that you have for 4th of July, whether it's who you hang out with, what you eat, a movie you watch, whatever. Maybe you go to a concert every 4th of July. I know Kate, gosh, eight or 9 years ago, Kate and I went to Willie Nelson's 4th of July picnic in Austin, Texas. That was wild. That was amazing. Oh my gosh. I'm not even like a country music guy per se. I don't dislike the genre, but it's not what I grew up with. So I certainly have the artists from that genre and the subgenres within it that I enjoy. But not all of it's really for me. I mean, I absolutely adore Willie Nelson, though. We got to see Chris Christopherson play solo. It brought a tear to my eye, man. Like some of that stuff, I just felt like it was really special to see. We got to see Merle Haggard like right before he had passed away. I mean, months before he passed away. So it was a really awesome show. And a good crowd, those country folks. They, they like to drink and they like to make sure their cheeks are sticking out from their shorts. So yeah, can't complain too much, right? Allie says you always give 110%. Dave, I appreciate that, Allie. Really do appreciate it. Yeah, Trisha, you guys do a pool thing? Whereabouts in the country are you at, Trisha? And you usually day drink. Yeah. That's an American tradition, right? And Jamie says, Chad, was it you who made Brad and Brett watch One-Eyed Monster? That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. The Ron Jeremy movie. Trisha watches I Know What You Did Last Summer. That's a really good one. That's a really great 4th of July. Perfect. I mean, because it centers around the holiday. That's awesome. Yeah, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. I know it takes place on the East Coast, right? But it kind of reminds me of my hometown because I grew up in a spot where a lot of people fish and crab and all that kind of stuff. We're right on the coast in Juneau. And 4th of July is a big deal up there in Alaska. It's a massive deal. They do fireworks at like 11:30 midnight on the night of the 3rd. So everyone in town, it seems, is like hanging out in downtown Juneau. And there's also this island, there's a something called the Gastineau Channel. So there's a bridge that goes over to an island that's, somewhat populated. And so between downtown and Douglas Island, it's like everyone is out and about watching the fireworks because they happen like right between the two in the channel. Really, really fun. For my money, as far as like doing 4th of July stuff that's related with like the town's activities, it doesn't get better for me than Juneau, Alaska. But I've had a lot of fun with Kate going to Austin for the Willie Nelson picnic. And then also we would go to a rodeo when we were living in Portland. We'd drive out like an hour out to some like country town. I can't remember the name of the town right now. If Kate's in the chat, she can let us know. But we would like car bar it and hang out at the rodeo. I had never been to a rodeo before I went to the first one with her. So again, I showed her horror movies and she showed me rodeos and country music. So it's a fair trade. Let's see here. Chad confirms it was him that made Brad and Brett watch One-Eyed Monster. All right, good to know. Big Rod says he heads over to his cousins, light some of the fireworks. Some are not street legal. So he smokes some tri-tip and gets stoned and drunk. All right. Just kidding, cops. Oh, are you cops? You don't get drunk or stoned? Oh, I don't know. Well, hey, tri-tip that's worth the price of admission right there. Let's see here. Jamie says, I used to go to a 3-day music festival during the 4th called the Blue Heron, but now I go to my brother's house for a family get together and we set off fireworks. And I always get rained on by Ash. Yeah. My dad was in the Coast Guard and we would hang out at the Coast Guard. I think it was like the Armory there in Juneau, right on the docks. And back in like the late 80s, they would blow up the fireworks just right off the dock. We would get the chunks of like the packed newspaper. It would like fall like right in our laps. It was wild. And I loved like the burnt smell that they all had. I'm such a weirdo. Trisha is in Oklahoma, triple digits. Yeah, triple digits here too, Trisha. Right now it is, let me pull it up. So real feel is 104 right now is what I'm being told. Yeah, it's wild. Raymond says, as of now, no plans to go anywhere, but hanging at home. Probably watch movies like Independence Day and Jaws and maybe The Shallows. All right, Independence Day. That's a fun one too. Flight of the Navigator was kind of on 4th of July. Okay, I remember that one as a kid. Haven't seen it in a while, but yeah, I remember that one. Oh, disclaimer for the man. Yeah, luckily I live in a place where, smoking ganja is, legal. Well, I mean, maybe not out in public, but certainly if you're at someone's pool or on their property. I'm a big cannabis guy. I've been, a pretty regular user since I was 21. Kate and I love our pens and our edibles and joints every now and then. But when you live in a desert, like dealing with flour gets a little tricky. It's kind of on a, you know, kind of on the clock as soon as you buy flour because it's just going to dry the hell out, right? Nicholas McMath says, so Davey, do you have any plans for the 4th of July? Yeah, we are going to go over to some friends of ours and we're going to barbecue over there. They live about a half hour away in a sweet little neighborhood. So, I would imagine they'll be preparing some food. They always do great food over there. Shout out to Shauna and Gary. And then Kate always prepares, probably multiple dishes for something like 4th of July. Kate's a really big into cooking and baking. She has got a talent for it. Both of her parents are chefs. Her parents owned restaurants, all that kind of stuff. She grew up in the industry. She grew up making scrambled eggs for the crew when she was, just a little kid. Probably before she could read, she was making food for people. So yeah, we'll just kind of kick it. It'll be probably pretty low key. I would say like tonight we might put on something like Jaws or The Return of the Living Dead, and we'll get into why, an extra reason why we'll be putting on Return of the Living Dead here in just a few. Raymond says, I used to watch the show The Deadliest Catch that took place in and around Alaska. It was really good. Just got into other shows. Yeah, man, the crab fishing is really serious business. The water here is so dangerous. The water in Alaska is so dangerous. You fall in it, no matter where you are. It could be the middle of the summer and you fall in the ocean in Juneau. The water is cold enough to immediately put your body into shock. And so it's dangerous. And then the waters where they do that, I mean, I'm sure you know, Raymond, because you watched the show. But yeah, the waters are very choppy and dangerous there where they do the best crabbing. Jamie says every year we have to duck and cover because my brother ends up throwing a box in the fire. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Nicholas says it's 94 where I'm at, and what to start smoking weed? Maybe it can help with my anxiety. Oh, yeah. Well, what I would say, Nicholas, here's, I guess, my advice if you're thinking about using cannabis. Now, hopefully you're of legal age and it's legal where you live. And then I would say from there, go into a shop and let somebody know. Like, I've worked in a dispensary and it's really cool because you kind of get to play the role of like advisor, therapist, weed dealer, like all three. So I would say, people would come into the shop all the time and they'd be like, I just turned 21. I've never done this before. Or maybe somebody comes in and they say, I do struggle with anxiety. Like, what should I smoke? And so they'll be able to recommend some stuff for you. And then I would say the biggest thing is, once you use that product, whether or not you enjoy it, take notes. Pull up your phone, take a picture of it, pull the notepad out on your phone and say, I enjoyed Blue Dream. Blue Dream's good. Made me feel relaxed or made me feel creative, whatever. Just take some notes. Be kind of a nerd about it. The more nerdy you can be, then the more, if you truly want to use it to medicate, you're going to have to take those notes. And then you're also going to have to realize, like, because sometimes you smoke something and maybe it does the opposite of what you wanted. Maybe it makes things a little racy and you don't really feel like you're in control. So you're going to want to be able to make those notes too, so you can avoid that strain in the future. Right. So it is one of those things where I would just recommend dipping your toe in it and being mindful of the experience. And, I've been doing it for a while now, so it wasn't as sophisticated when I started smoking. It was just like, you got what you got and you smoked it. But now it's really nice to be able to be like, all right, well, this is the one where I want to do a bunch of chores during the day. I'll hit this pen. And then when I'm ready to relax, I've got a different pen that's going to relax my body, give me more of that body high and let me kind of sink in. So yeah, that's my advice there. Big Rod says, going to get chunky eating some 5-star gourmet grub. Yes, I am going to get chunky. I've lost 40 pounds in the last year and a couple months, but I'll probably gain about 5 of them back on 4th of July. Tyler's new house won't be quite finished by the 4th. Maybe get the pool set up. I would say, yeah, F that. Forget the house for the next couple days, Tyler. Get that pool ready. And just ignore the house on the 4th of July. Just be like, nope. All we need is the bathroom. and just live in the pool. There you go. Put on Jaws, fall asleep out there. Weed's legal where Jamie's at, gets a Wonka bar for every occasion. Hell yeah. Chad says weed is great. I agree. If I had to pick between weed and alcohol, it would be a no-brainer for me. I would go weed all day because weed's not going to give you a hangover. You would have to try really hard. The only way you could get a hangover off of weed is if you just did not drink water at all. Big Rod says, I'm in Cali. The weed's legal, but the fireworks, not so much. Yeah, it's too bad. Yeah, I think that's true, Big Rod. I think you do want to wait till your brains developed. Yep, absolutely. Allie's going to be grilling at the house and floating in the pool. Oh, I'm jealous. Pictures or it didn't happen, Allie. 28 and lives in Texas. I don't think it's legal. I don't know about that. It might be legal out there. And even if it's not legal for recreational use, Nicholas, you might be able to get a medical card. So I would check into that, especially if you really do deal with anxiety. I think like the process, like the experience of being alive is going to give everyone anxiety to some degree. So it's sort of like a spectrum, like how anxious do you get? I certainly get anxious in certain situations sometimes, and other times I don't. It's really weird. Like even at Days of the Dead, sometimes I'll be at a convention and I won't be bashful at all. I'll just walk up to anyone and whatever. And then other times I'm more reserved. And I don't really know like why that is necessarily. I think I'm just one of those weird people who's like most of the time I'm an extrovert. Sometimes I'm an introvert, or I'm an extrovert that needs a recharge because I just don't feel like I've got it. You know, it's crazy. Raymond says my sister would offer to let me try weed, but I'd just be afraid I would get sick. Oh, Raymond, the only time you'd get sick if you tried weed is if you were drunk before. So I would say, I don't know if you drink, but I would say, you know, if somebody offers you something and you're sober, that's the best time to give it a shot because it's not going to make you feel sick. I can maybe eating weed like edibles, maybe you could eat too much and get sick, but as far as smoking or hitting a vape, I've never heard of anyone getting sick from that unless they were drunk, and then it can give you the spins. It can definitely, if you're inebriated from alcohol and then you smoke, especially if you're not used to it, that's a recipe for disaster. Absolutely. R.I.P. Granddaddy Perps. I miss your sweet taste. Hey, it's not over, right? Granddaddy Purple will always be there. You know, and the thing is though, and maybe I missed a news story there, Big Rod. Even if the strain isn't pure anymore, like no strains are pure anymore, everything's cross-pollinated. So even if it's like, yeah, it's not the Granddaddy Purple that they had hundreds of years ago, there's going to be something that's close to Granddaddy Purple. Because I think a lot of it came from, so Purple Hindu Kush was one of the first, here's my lesson for you guys. Purple Hindu Kush was one of the originals. It is where most weed derives from. So Purple Hindu Kush is a very heavy indica. And indica is more of the relaxing, body high kind of thing. Not for everyone. Weed does different stuff to different people, and there's no across the board. A lot of people, especially people that don't enjoy cannabis regularly, you know, I think they miss that. They're like, oh, well, sativa gets you all excited, and then indica's into couch. And it's like, well, for most people, I would say most people, most of the time, not all the time. But yeah, so Purple Hindu Kush was like the OG. And then, you know, when countries started intermingling with each other, the Purple Hindu Kush, you know, came over to Europe and became Dutch Treat through time. So through cultivation became Dutch Treat, which is a hybrid sativa. So something that was a very heavy indica ended up being pollinated in a way that it turned into a hybrid sativa. And Dutch Treat, if you guys haven't had Dutch Treat, it's one of the best smelling, best tasting, best like reaction overall strains I've ever had. I highly recommend it. It is so choice, to quote Ferris Bueller. And Jamie says, if anything, it'll fix nausea. Yeah. Isn't legal in Texas. Not even medical, Allie. I say damn the man on that. You know, any president could lift the federal ban and then leave it to the states to decide. Not to get political, but it's like, I feel like if there's an issue that people disagree on, I feel like the federal government should just kind of get out of the way and let the states decide. Unless it's, I mean, something like weed, like that's really simple, especially all the money that can be raised from weed uh, for infrastructure, rebuilding roads, and then even arts programs in school. Like that's where Colorado and Oregon and Washington and Arizona, that money goes back into the community through the government. So man, how cool would it be if if your kids can have a cool music program or a theater program in their school and part of it's paid for by a bunch of adult stoners? I think that's called poetic justice in the best possible way. Big Rod grew Hindu Kush in the late 90s. All right. Raymond just watched Evil Bong series the last few weeks. Didn't take them seriously, so found most of them kind of fun. Yeah, they look like Thanksgiving, Gingerbread Man, all that kind of like fun, ridiculous stuff. Yeah. Dutch Bros Seeds had me some of them. Yeah. Not the good. Oh, only the THC. Gotcha. Interesting. So you can do like CBD. They have like CBD stuff, which is, it's good for pain relief. But CBD is way better if you can mix it with THC. Absolutely. All right. Well, hopefully YouTube doesn't come after me for all that. But yeah, guys, talking, moving over from that like 3rd of July, 4th of July talk and the return of the living dead, we've got the return of the movie Punx coming on the, gosh, I forgot the date already, 6th of July. So this Saturday, we are covering the return of the living dead, which just might be the most punk of all movie Punx movies, right? I mean, does it get more punk rock than Return of the Living Dead? I just don't know. Let me know in the comments. Do you guys like the Return of the Living Dead? Where are y'all at? Do you guys like movie Punx? Have you guys tuned in for movie Punx? Have some of you not even caught one? I saw that our last episode didn't get as much viewership, but I know it had been a little bit since the previous one. It had been like 6 weeks or something like that almost between the two episodes. So I love getting together with Foz and talking to him. Foz is such a energetic, like fun-loving fan. And he's just got a different perspective than me. It's really cool. He's got that sweet Southern West Virginian accent. He, has seen so many more movies than I have, which is always really cool to be able to chat up with somebody that just has such a massive, extensive knowledge. And, I love The Return of the Living Dead. I've been familiar with that film for about 25, 30 years now. And so I think this will be a really good one for us to go like kind of toe to toe on, because I just absolutely adore this movie. And I think 4th of July weekend is the best time to be watching it. Yeah. Just to close up the weed talk, Nicholas says, Davey, I dislike that the U.S. government tries to control what people do in their own home. Yeah. If you're not violating the rights of other people, then you should be able to do it. So whatever you do in your own home, as long as it's not violating the rights of other people, at least the federal government should stay out of the way, right? And then if you don't like how your state's run, you can move to a different state. There's 50 of them now. There's been 50 of them for about 70 years. So yeah, just get out of the way, y'all. Jamie says, Movie Punx rules. I need a Movie Punx t-shirt. Yeah, I have to get the new artwork up in the shop. Thank you for reminding me, Jamie. That's another thing that got kind of put on the back burner when I was out of work and all that kind of stuff. Big Rod says, not in horror, just SLC punk. Yeah, SLC Punk's a very punk rock movie. And then, of course, even like the decline of Western civilization, like, you can go like full documentary. Green Room is another punk rock movie, I would say, that's kind of, maybe some horror elements, but less of a horror movie, more of like a kidnapping heist kind of movie. Lost Boys certainly is a punk. Yeah, absolutely, Raymond. Absolutely. Tyler says Return of the Living Dead is actually one I've only seen once when I was 17. Oh, man, Tyler. Yeah, you should check that out again, man. It's really fun. I'm sure you had a fun enough time watching it when you're 17. You might, if you go back for a revisit, you might be like, man, this one stands up, because it is just a wild, fun-loving time. Great soundtrack, punk rock bands throughout. Miguel Nunez Jr. is in there from Friday the 13th, Part 5. No goddamn enchiladas in this one, but he is great. Linnea Quigley. Can we just get some love in the chat for Linnea Quigley's performance in Return of the Living Dead? And I mean the whole performance. So of course, yeah, the striptease dance. Well, it's not even a striptease dance. The get completely buck-ass naked and dance around on an altar dance. That's great. But she's awesome throughout. And the looks of these characters are so cool. I love the one guy. I can't remember his name, but he's in Friday the 13th Part 5 as well. He's the guy that chops up Joey. I can't remember the actor's name, but he's like, he does a total like Travolta impression when he's like, this ain't no costume. Like he's just got this, oh my God, Sandy. Oh my God, my head's so big. I'm John Travolta. I got to stop doing imitations on here. Jamie says, I saw Return of the Living Dead in the theater. Jamie, you're amazing. I want to time travel to exist just so I can ruin the theater experiences for you. I'm just joking. Big Rod says, I watch everything I can. Love the content. Hell yeah, Big Rod. Nicholas has not seen the Return of the Living Dead. Let me see where it's streaming right now, guys. I feel like a responsibility to tell you guys because I have it on Blu-ray. So I'm fortunate enough to where I can just pop in the Blu-ray to watch it. But let's see. Return of the Living Dead. There we go. Let's see. Where is it streaming? Oh, so it's on the Roku channel. It is on Pluto TV. So if you want to watch it free, Pluto. Let's see here. Amazon, it says premium subscription. I don't know if that means like Amazon Prime, because sometimes you go into Amazon and like, even if you have Prime, you still have to pay for it. But yeah, Pluto TV, you can check it out for free. And you might have to watch some commercials. I think Pluto has gotten a little bit better. Pluto and Tubi have gotten better about their commercials, not as many. And I would doubt they censor anything on there. So you get the real deal. Allie says, I like Living Dead and movie Punx. Hell yeah, Allie. Hell yeah. Raymond says, Return of the Living Dead is fun. I really like the third one. I don't know. I think I've seen the third one on television, Raymond. I don't know if I've ever seen it unedited. I think I've only seen the first two. Tell me if I should dive into the rest of them. Or if maybe I should just watch the third and stop there. Green Room is gnarly. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Good shit. Man. Just bringing it back up, like rest in peace, Anton Yelchin. I think that's I was so sad when he passed away in such a crazy circumstance, just such a horrible accident. And he was an incredibly gifted actor, man. That guy was in a lot of different kinds of movies and was still pretty damn young when he passed away. Lost a good one there. I don't know much about his personal life. I just mean a good one as far as a good performer. Love Green Room. Yep, there it is, Raymond. Oh, so Raymond's throwing it out there before I even said it. All right, yep. Tyler says, 20 years later, I think I'm going to have another blast. Yeah, man, check out Return of the Living Dead. You're going to have a hell of a time. Clu Gulager. Clu is awesome. I love Clu Gulager. He's so good. And of course, you've got Tom Matthews. Why did I have a tough time thinking of his name? You've got Tom Matthews in there as well, and James Karen, Linnea Quigley, Miguel Nunez Jr. It's a whole bunch of fun stuff. It's a really good like Repo Man, like watch Repo Man, then watch Return of the Living Dead. It's like a really good 1-2 punch. Feel like Lost Boys was more glam rock, less punk. Well, I think it has a punk rock feel as far as like I know what you mean. Like the hair's bigger, they're a bit prettier, but they do have like the punk rock aesthetic, at least like in pop culture, what was known as punk rock. Yeah. Yep. Rock and Roll High School is a punk rock movie. You're absolutely right, Jamie. In every single way, that is a punk rock movie. Yeah. Tyler says your impressions are on point. Awesome. Excellent. Oh my God, Sandy, my head's so big. Oh my God. You just shot Marvin in the face. Oh geez, another John Travolta impression. My favorite though is whenever like he would go on Oprah's show back in the day and she would be like, John Travolta! She was so happy about John Travolta being on the show. I bet you feel lucky at being able to see so much. It's awesome. And that's great that you don't take it for granted. I love giving you shit about it, but really it's just because I'm jealous. Yeah, I agree, Tyler. Yep. It's a big loss, man. Sucks. Yeah. Yeah, Cody. He could have, man, just I just think of like the amazing roles and how he could have contributed later on because he was, a big time genre guy, but also in some more like mainstream kind of stuff. I thought he was amazing in Star Trek. He's in what's that? What's that movie about? Alpha Dog. He was in that one too. That's like a little lesser known film that he was in. Yeah. Um, and Allie, you finally watched In a Violent Nature. She says the kills were great. Did you enjoy the movie overall, Allie? Or is it more of like is it kind of a one and done? Like, do you see yourself wanting to purchase it or go back to it? I'm curious. Yeah, me and Big Rod want it. I want to know. Tank Girl is punk rock. That's a good one, Cody. Ooh, I should write that down. I need to tell Fozzie Bear about that because I bet if I tell Foz about that, he'll be like, "Oh my god, I love Tank Girl so much. Tank Girl's such a good movie." That's my like generic Southern accent. It's not as good as my John Travolta. Not as good as my John Travolta. Not as good as my Lori Petty. Yeah, Lori Petty. Yeah, in the army now, a league of their own. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Damn, you met her in Indonesia? Like you just bumped into her? Like you were just like out and about and there's Lori Petty? It's got to be wild. I like her like kind of scratchy voice. She was sort of like, tell me if I'm wrong here, Cody. Did she sort of prime us all for somebody like Gwen Stefani? Because they kind of have a similar look a little bit. I wonder. Yeah. You guys are all I love seeing you guys interact in the chat too. Oh, and then got to meet her in Indianapolis in 2018. Hell yeah. Was the Warriors punk rock? I yeah, because I think so, when we say movie punks and we talk about punk rock, it's sort of like the overall feel. So it's not necessarily like that there has to be punk rock music. I do think Warriors could fit there in punk rock. I mean, the first movie we did was Night of the Demons 2. So it was about that punk rock approach. So we followed that up with Dawn of the Dead, the original Dawn of the Dead, because to me, it doesn't get much more punk rock than George A. Romero. And then Repo Man. I mean, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Return of the Living Dead. And then Foz's birthday's in August. So we're talking about doing Airheads in August. Are you guys Airheads fans? Let me know. Cody, I would imagine that you've got to be a massive Airheads fan. You just seem like the kind of guy. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm not. Odd Thomas. Yep, that's another one. I have not seen Odd Thomas, but I've heard of that one. Yeah. Yeah, Fright Night remake. Yeah. Good little flick with Susan Sarandon and her daughter, Middle of Nowhere. Yeah, I've not heard of that one. Really appreciate you guys filling me in on the things I've missed. Absolutely. Nicholas asked the big question, man. Whew, have you seen Cannibal Holocaust? Yes. I've seen it one time, Nicholas, and that movie is fantastic at getting its point across. That's one of the most impactful, powerful movies I've ever seen. It's tough to say whether I enjoyed it because I know there's real animal cruelty in there, which I certainly have mixed feelings about. However, I think that they did some of that to blur the lines with the human violence that looks very real. I think most people know the story of how Deodato had to go to court I don't know if it was in Italy or if it was in the UK, but he had to prove that they didn't kill those people in the movie. Hopefully I'm probably telling you guys something you already know because it seems to be one of the bigger factoids of that film. But I like Cannibal Holocaust. What's really cool about it is that you think the narrative is going one way. Like you think that it's going to be about this terrible injustice that was done to these student filmmakers that just happened to get between warring tribes. And then, like halfway through, a third of the way through, it sort of flips and turns into almost like a documentary style film where the professor's trying to figure out, like, that to me is what I thought was really interesting and compelling. The way that they make you feel a certain way and then they flip it right around. I thought that was really cool, ahead of its time. A movie I only had to see once, man. It left an impact, just like Requiem for a Dream or Pi or Passion of the Christ, or there's a whole bunch of movies out there where it's like, yeah, once is enough. Like, and that's, I'm not saying that I don't like the movies. I'm saying that it's like it's that powerful. I don't ever have to go back because it burns images into my mind. And I've enjoyed all those movies that I've only had to watch once. I love me some Cody Snyder. Absolutely. Facci's got a lot of boy crushes in here, which is certainly welcome and very much okay. One of the few celebrity deaths I cried about. I remember I was like in the middle of a work day, Trisha, and I was just like, you got to be kidding me. And then when I read about how it happened, I was just like, oh my God, this is like the wildest way to go. Like, this is just so bizarre. Like, that could have happened to anyone. In fact, there was a class action lawsuit against Jeep after his death because they had a faulty e-brake. Yeah, it's friggin' crazy. Oh, you meant Indianapolis. You should have just lied about it, Cody. You should have been like, yeah, I was in Indonesia for a conference and we just bumped into each other at what are they doing? What do they eat in Indonesia? Bumped into her at a market. I don't know, whatever, open air market, selling monkeys, whatever. I don't know. Yeah. I haven't seen Thoroughbreds either, Raymond. Yeah. Anton was such a talented guy, man. It's crazy. Never been to Indonesia. Well, I'm going to tell people now, Cody. I'm going to be like, dude, did you guys know that Cody Snyder met Lori Petty in Indonesia? Just wait, H50. Everyone's going to be asking you about it. I'm going to put that in the recesses of my mind. I'm going to bring it back. Look out. Alley Girl says, well, I bought it. It wasn't much of a difference of renting it. I will probably watch it again. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, the price wasn't that much different. Yeah. Don't think it'll be my favorite of 2024. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to watch it. I mean, seems like a first-person Jason movie. It's probably fun for at least once go around. I love Jamie Hart. Matt's being a flirt again. That's great. Hell yeah, Airheads from Tyler Adams. There it is. Matt, no, man, really appreciate it. I love everything you do over at your channel. I'm so pumped that Sleepaway Camp is on Shudder as of today because I don't own a copy and I want to watch it before sitting down and watching it with you guys here. That's this week. Feel free to drop a link in the chat, Matt, if you'd love to, if you'd like to, whichever. Oh, Raymond, Airheads is really fun. Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi, Adam Sandler, Michael McKean, Joe Mantegna, Chris Farley's got a little not really a cameo, but like a bit part. Ernie Hudson, I think, is in there. Cody, can you confirm that? Ernie Hudson in Airheads. David Arquette has a tiny little role. Like, man, I didn't even remember that David Arquette was in it until I looked at the IMDb. That's how like not famous he was when the movie was popping off. But it's a really cool concept. It's basically like a band that's trying to make it. So they use fake guns to hold a radio station hostage and make them play their tape. That's the basic idea. Yeah. Oh, Jamie saw it in the theater, everyone. Yeah. No, it was that faulty friggin'. Oh, I can't even think about it. It hurts me. Clerks 1, punk rock. Yeah. I would, even the soundtrack, Bad Religion's on that soundtrack. I can't remember if NoFX is on there, but I know they've got a handful of punk rock songs. And yeah, The Approach, Rod. I would say like The Approach, like Evil Dead. Evil Dead to me, now it might not show up on movie punks, but I think the approach of making the Evil Dead is punk as fuck. Like, I've read the book and everything about how they made that, and it really was. There were certain times making Evil Dead where there's 3 or 4 people on the set at the cabin, you know, and maybe even times where it's just 2 or 3. So it's like, you know, they just got that shit done. And to me, that's kind of what punk rock is about. It's like the do it yourself element and just making sure you get it done, you know? Oh, just moved your stuff back to Kentucky, gave up on your place in Oregon. Are you on the road right now, Cody? Or are you out there in Kentucky? Okay, I'll have to check out Odd Thomas for sure. Yeah, Allie. And that's when Brendan was like super hot, right? Got that long hair, that big head, tall as shit. I love Buscemi to me. That's like the really cool thing because it's like, man, if Airheads didn't come out that year, if it was like a year or two later, you might not have been able to get Steve Buscemi in there just because his star rose shortly thereafter. So looking back on it, and not to, of course, Adam Sandler's star rose and so did Brendan Fraser's, but I think Buscemi is kind of in a different sort of realm, maybe, because he isn't just comedy exclusive. Like those guys were pretty much comedy exclusive in that time. Yeah, really, really cool. Great movie. Really looking forward to getting to rewatch it. And I love a lot of those performers so much. Oh yeah, Michael Richards, Kramer from Seinfeld is in it. Like, yeah, that movie is so much fun. White Zombie makes an appearance in there as well. Fun stuff. We used to let Cannibal Holocaust edits play on a projector when my old band was playing house parties. That's the way to go, man. That is wild. I think one time I was playing in a group called Absent Minds, and we went up to play a place called Longview in Washington, and we played at a place called the Chinese Gardens, and they had a screen, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to like we have a bunch of movies? Do you want to play a movie while you guys are playing?" And I was like, "You have Evil Dead 2?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Cool. Can you play Evil Dead 2 while we play?" So they put on Evil Dead 2. Our music doesn't really, it's not like it really fits it. It's like skate punk, but you know, I love Evil Dead 2. Maxwell King says, just found this channel. Also review horror movies and do skits. Your style is awesome. Keep it up. P.S. I just subbed. Thank you so much, Maxwell, man. I'm happy you came by to check us out. And yeah, I'll have to give your channel a sub and dive into your content as well, man. Always looking for new people to watch. And I think the pie is big enough to where everyone can have a slice on YouTube. I fully believe that because I watch a lot of YouTube. So it's not just certain segments of my day, it's all times of my day. So yeah, I'll have to check your stuff out. And Maxwell, if you're still in the chat, not sure if you are, but if you're still here, I do a weekly talk show, a late night talk show that airs at 10 p.m. Eastern, and it's live Wednesday nights. So you know, maybe we can pop you on the talk show, get to know you a little bit, and talk about your content and what you're into. Yeah. I ain't farting on no snare drum. Little Adam Sandler there. I'm doing imitations tonight, I guess. Alley Girl says, I've only watched Passion of the Christ once, and that'll be the only time. That's all I needed. I mean, it was fantastically made, but whew, brutal. Brutal. One night with Lori. One night in Bangkok makes a strong man crumble. I'll watch In a Violent Nature when it gets on Shudder, which may be next month. Yeah, I'm surprised it's not already out there. Yeah. I thought it would have been out there by now already. Yeah, for sure. I miss the days where I could see a bunch of movies at the theater every year. Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah, and you know, when you're younger and you're a kid, it's just a lot easier because you just don't have as much to do. So don't have responsibilities normally. Yeah. Hottest he ever was The Mummy and Blast for the Past. Yeah. You know, Juneau, my hometown, gets a shout out in Blast from the Past. When Dave Foley's character asks Brendan Fraser's character what the capital of Alaska is, and Brendan Fraser's character says Juneau, and Dave Foley goes, "No, it's Anchorage." And Brendan Fraser's like, "No, Anchorage is the largest city. Juneau is the capital." And shout out to Alicia Silverstone for being the hottest chick of the mid-90s. How about that? But yeah, Allie, The Mummy is awesome. To me, I get big time Indiana Jones vibes from The Mummy. Love that shit. Yeah. Cody is back on the road Friday in Kentucky. All right. Let's see here, just catching up with you guys. Cody says Michael Richards will always be the bow tie killer to me. Yeah, I haven't had a smiley pie in years. He'll always be Stanley Spadowski from UHF to me. I love Problem Child though. I made Kate watch that and she was like, "Oh my god, of course you like this movie because you're like this friggin' kid." But yeah, the the Stanley Spadowski and UHF, man, what a way to go. Oh, we got Cecil in the chat. Just sat down at Maxine, and guess who isn't here? Oh man. Oh, Cecil, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I figured with me starting my new job today and Fuego, being able to actually show up yesterday, I wanted to volley the ball back to him, just to fill you guys in. Cecil was like, "Do you want to go to the pre-screening of Maxine?" And there's the horror show channel. There's a big group of folks. It's sort of like a band over there, like a whole bunch of people. And I just wanted to defer to Fuego because he's been there, since the beginning. So I just wanted to defer to him so he could go check out Maxine. That's too bad. I hope you enjoy the film though, Cecil. I still need to catch up on X and Pearl before watching Maxine. So I've got some homework to do before this weekend. Absolutely. Hell yeah, Maxwell. That sounds great, man. I'll check out your channel. Feel free to drop it in the chat here if you'd like, so other people can check out what you're doing. And I'll let me just bring it up right now so I don't miss it later. Maxwell King, right? Okay, let's see. Okay, perfect. There you are, man. Excellent. I'm gonna check that out once we're all done with the stream here. We're kind of wrapping things up, guys. Let's go for about 10 more minutes or so, and then we'll bounce, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. But let me just make sure. So yeah, Movie Punx, guys, Saturday, July 6th. Go ahead and set that notification. The stream is up. I'll be sharing that here within the next couple days. And then double scoops. All right. Now, you guys may know Barry from Wolfman's Got Nards. You guys, can I get some Wolfman's Got Nards love in the chat here? Anyone a big fan there of the Wolfman? Well, not Robert the Wolfman. I mean, of course you're a fan of Robert the Wolfman, but Barry from Wolfman's Got Nards. He's doing this whole series talking about Halloween films. Now, he did one with Jason Smith from Sinister Cinema, and he did one with Darren from the Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast. And he also did one with Evan from Rockland Graves. Really love everything those guys do. And I'm so humbled and so happy to be asked by Barry to jump on. If you guys know Barry, you know that he absolutely loves H2O. It's his favorite sequel in the Halloween series. I'm pretty lukewarm on it. When I first saw it, it was the very first Halloween movie I saw in the theater. So I had how I felt about it at the beginning was massive praise. Absolutely adored it when I first saw it. But we've had a lot of movies since then, and I would say H2O is probably further now in the back of my ranking. It doesn't mean I don't like the movie. It just means that there's certain things about it that really don't work for me. So the idea of double scoops is to do, Barry does live shows where he deep dives into each movie or an aspect of the franchise. So Barry has asked me to come on. We're doing something called Why We're Wrong is what it's called. I'm going to tell Barry why he's wrong in thinking that H2O is a great film. And he's going to tell me why I'm wrong in thinking that it's not so great. So this will be really fun because it won't be so much, it's going to be an active discussion. We're going to get you guys in the chat involved as well. That is going to be on Saturday, July 13th. So I just wanted to give you guys a little, kind of whet your appetite on that one a little bit. So go over to Wolfman's Got Nards and check out the other 3 episodes. They're really good live streams. So, you're going to love the conversation there. And then set that notification for our discussion on H2O. And of course, next week I'll spend even, this coming Sunday, I'll talk about it even more because that's something that, Barry's got like 80,000 some subs. I think he's going to be at 100K easy by the end of the year. And so I want to be able to kind of show him like, hey, I'll bring some people to your live stream. We'll have a fun, respectful chat. Of course, like you guys know me, all opinions are welcome. And I think the fun thing will be is just sort of like, where can he convince me and where can I sort of swing him? And I'm not going to just give those simple, like, the mask is shit. Like, to me, that's not really why H2O doesn't work for me. Maybe the mask in certain aspects is like part of it. We'll definitely get into that in the live stream, so I won't say too much now. But yeah, guys, set that notification. I'll be talking about it more next Sunday. And hop on over to Wolfman's Got Nards. Give him a sub if you don't already. And also, yeah, check out Double Scoops. He also has a really fun like Scream podcast that's going on. Cecil from the Horror Show channel was on there just 2 or 3 weeks ago. So he's bringing in all sorts of folks to collaborate. Yeah, I love, interacting with people, getting to know these folks better. I've been watching Barry for a really long time. So it's humbling and just kind of surreal whenever someone that you've been watching for a while gets a hold of you about collaborating. It's really, really cool. Yeah. Let's see here. Just want to catch up on some chat. Have you seen the movie Only God Forgives? I've not seen that movie, Nicholas. I totally have missed that one. I'm sorry. There's a lot I haven't seen. You'd be surprised for somebody that hops on YouTube and talks about movies all the time. You'd be surprised. There's a lot I've missed. Hey there, Sean Strauss popping in. Can't stay, but it's great to see you doing your thing, Davey. Thank you for dropping in, Sean. Really appreciate it, man. Appreciate that. I met Sean. Sean was a substitute teacher in my hometown. So he lives there in Juneau. I believe he was originally from New York State. Or maybe he just went to college there. I could be wrong. But yeah, he substitute taught in the Juneau school district. So I think the first time he was a sub, I was probably like 12 or 13. It was probably like 7th or 8th grade. So like Green Day was really big. The Power Rangers were just coming out. And then he subbed later on, like when I was in high school and stuff. So that's how I got to know Sean. He's starting his own interview kind of podcast thing here coming up as well. Yeah. Cody said, dude, never gotten to Seinfeld, but it's in the to-do list. Dude, Seinfeld's really good. I love Seinfeld. But I don't want to overhype it. It's just really well-written comedy. I love how the stories all sort of converge. All the plot lines by the end of each episode usually converge. And I love how most of the episodes end on like kind of an awkward joke. I kind of like that. Yeah. Let's see here. Davey, before you leave, the likes right now are 29. Awesome. Thank you, Nicholas. Appreciate it. I think I saw you over on Born to Be Rad in the stream, letting Garrett know about the likes as well. So I appreciate the count. It's good to know where people are at. We've actually climbed. We were down to like 8, I think maybe even just 6 viewers. Now we're back to 11. So welcome in some folks who have maybe come back or just tuning in, for the first time. We've got T. Parker Evans. I'd say H2O is a great film and in my top half of the franchise. So yeah, I would say for me, it's in the bottom half. But I don't think it's a bad movie. They just all, when you rank them, they all got to go somewhere, right? I just find, man, the older I get, I don't know what it is. It just slides a little bit because I start noticing the things that I don't like start standing out a little bit more. Yep. And we got to the double scoops. That's great. All right. Oh yeah. You said, never mind. You're talking about it right now. Exactly. Trisha loves H2O. Raymond says, used to like H2O, but haven't liked it as much the last few times I've watched it. We're right there with each other, Raymond. We're right there. Big Rod says, I love those opposing views discussions. Yes. And what's really cool is, something you don't see on the internet a lot is we're going to have a civil discussion. So it'll be, disagreeing, but no personal attacks or anything like that. It'll be great. I can't wait because Barry and I, in the last couple of years, I've probably interacted with him a little bit more, even before starting my channel, just like, chiming in the comments and stuff. He's always been really good about commenting back. And so I feel like, it'll just be perfect. I'm really looking forward to having that chat with him, and I'm gonna watch the movie a couple more times. I'm gonna watch it once. I'm gonna write down all the stuff I like because I have to be fair. Even if I'm trying to convince him that it's not the best sequel in the franchise or even close to the best sequel in the franchise, I gotta be fair. And so if I'm gonna go after the movie for what it doesn't do well, I need to know, well, not like I don't know, but I need to be able to articulate the things that I do think the movie does really well because it does. There's a lot that works in H2O. I just think there's more that doesn't. So yeah, it'll be really, really fun. And it's Trisha's favorite sequel. Big Rod Double Scoops is not its own channel. It's on Wolfman's Got Nards. So if you go over there, you can check it out on his channel. So I don't know if he has a playlist set up for it or anything like that, but he does have a few episodes, so you guys can check that out. And I'm having a little bit more of the lemon configuration. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Garrett is great, Nicholas. Yeah, Foz and I. So Foz Rotten, my partner on Movie Punx, we shot a video with Garrett and Cody. So with two of the rad dudes and then two of the movie punks. Now, I won't tell you what it is because Garrett hasn't shared it yet, but I think it's going to be airing next Saturday morning. So on the 6th, 8 a.m. Eastern. I don't know exactly what time. I would just keep a lookout for it. But that's really cool because I love the Born to Be Rad channel. You guys know I've had Cody from Dude Who Loves Movies on the channel before. Really love his content as well. So it's always awesome to team up with other people, and especially people that you respect, you enjoy their content. It's a great way to just, get to know them a little bit. And also it's a cool sort of, especially for me being like relatively new to the game, it's a cool validation for like what we're doing here at the channel that, we're trying to put our best foot forward. We're trying to let things cultivate naturally and just create entertaining content where we're interacting with our audience and getting to know you guys better and getting to know each other better. T. Parker, civil discussions. I remember those back in the good old days before social media. Yeah, you ain't lying, man. It's really tough. It takes special people to be civil online because it can get really ugly really quick and it can turn into either trying to cut someone's legs out, some political thing, or even just like attacking someone personally. And I've never really been into that. When people go to personal attacks, I'm sort of out. I'm just sort of like, well, I feel like you lost. Like if we're arguing about something and then you attack me personally or you attack somebody, if I'm watching an argument go on and someone takes it personal or goes the personal route, I just feel like they kind of lose because it shows that they didn't keep their cool and they didn't stay on task, right? Yeah, that's hilarious. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap it up here. I want to make sure I get it done here within 2 hours. So I am going to have some upcoming pre-recorded material. I'm wrapping up the Child's Play series. So I'm going to put out a franchise ranking of Child's Play. I'm also going to put out a review for Bride of Chucky for Antonis Andriotis, one of our Patreons. And then I am going to put out some rankings for the Jaws franchise and the Evil Dead franchise and reviews for the Evil Dead franchise, which is my favorite horror franchise. So I'm really, really excited to share those thoughts with you guys. Later on this summer, I'm going to go on Dave McCrae's channel. I'm going to go on an episode of McCrae Live, and we're going to talk Evil Dead. I'm going to try to convince Dave to be an Evil Dead fan because he's just not really in either camp right now. So I'm really looking forward to that and want to get some reviews in before all of that. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys are awesome. I love you so much. I will be back on Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern live with Chris Stanley for Late Night with the Davy. We're going to talk all things Batman. So you guys have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you next time. Until then, I have been and will continue being Davy Deathray. Take care.